Let me get in some Luka content, guys. How awesome was that yesterday? Morning News comparing Luka's eyebrow raise after making his 7th consecutive three-pointer to the Jordan shoulder shrug from the 92 finals against that same Trailblazers team, one that Rick Carlisle was an assistant on. So there was some synergy going on, some history there. So I am sure it felt a little Jordan-esque to the crowd in Portland as Luka was on fire. He ends up making 8 of 9. He had 37 points without even playing the fourth quarter. That was 27 minutes of action. Jordan-esque from Luka, our very own GOAT. What do you say?
I mean, you're going to get to compare him to whoever you want over the course of his career. I don't think, for the most part, we'll ever truly appreciate how just freaking awesome it is to go from the guy who led the Mavericks to, I believe, the second most wins during his career in Dirk to, here you go, now have Luka. You didn't get a bunch of championships, but you got one, and then you just get to turn right into the Luka era, and it's dumb. You're basketball blessed to get to watch that. If he becomes a by the percentages good three-point shooter, I don't know what the limit is for him.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's a good segue into what we're going to talk about right here is, last night after the game, Coach Terry Stotts said, now former Mavs assistant Terry Stotts, by the way, from the championship team, says, after the game, he says if he has longevity in his career, he's going to be an all-time great, no doubt. And it is tough to project who's going to continue on and stay healthy, and it's tough. It's a marathon that you have to run, and many players have been down the path only to get tripped up halfway through, and all of a sudden it's a career-defining injury, like a Brandon Roy or a Yao Ming. But Luka's on that path already, but I got to tell you guys, I think it might be time to reevaluate, reimagine where he is as an elite player. Is he joining the super elite? Because you mentioned the three, Jeff. Since February 1st, the three-point number is 43.3%. It's incredible. I didn't think he was going to be having the possibility of also being an elite three-point shooter. If that holds, he will be impossible to defend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just look at what the Mavericks are outside of the 2-8 Rona run, which I'll always reference. You look at what this team is and compare their roster to the other teams with a similar record. It's Luka. Like, this team is not a, quote, really good or great team. It's Luka. It's like KP some nights is great. Some nights he struggles. Josh Richardson lately is a good player. Before that, he struggled. Tim Hardaway some nights is going to really help you, but it's Luka, and he's 22. So I don't know. Like, if you're listing out the best players in basketball, is he no doubt top 5 at 22?
So.
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know where that goes, because what's never going to – you know what else he is? I saw this today. He is one of the 7 most efficient post-up players in the league now.
Oh, wow.
So it's threes, it's post-up, it's the vision, it's rebounding, it's the ball handling, it's the assists and the opportunities for others. It's silly. It's silly how freaking good that dude is.
I mean, when the three is falling, it just has a completely different impact on the way that guys have to defend you. And it might become almost an instant trap when you come across half court like they do to Damian Lillard. The difference is with Luka, he can see over the top of it. He's big enough to hold his ground. And if you want to double him, it's going to create so much space for even easier buckets for his teammates.
When you look at Luka and you're the Mavs, if you're in the front office, do you have to be patient for moves around him, or do you need to be aggressive with moves around him?
I mean, nobody in the NBA really leaves a team until, 6 years?
Yeah.
I think you got time. You got to make sure you don't get stuck into something that is a long-term bad if you think you have an opportunity to build something that's long-term good, because you don't want him to get frustrated. But at the same time, I do think they're going to end up with a top 5 or 6 seed despite the Rona run. And you don't have to actually worry about is Luka going to be a Laker? Like, that is 3, 4, 5 years away.
He's very much about winning. He's very much about winning. You know, and it gets very emotional about it too.
Yeah.
When things are not, when they have those nights, and I know the 2-8 Rona thing was bad, and but he still takes losing bad.
Yeah.
And I wonder,
he won a lot at Real Madrid.
Yeah. So I wonder if it's one of those things, if you're the Mavs, do you say, okay, wait, he's going to be a star for the next 10, 12 years, and we have time to build this around him? Or do you think, man, we have got to maximize his 22 to 27 run right now?
I think you need to be as aggressive as possible without making the big mistake that costs you further opportunities. But coming up these next couple of off seasons, they should be in a place where they could have a lot of money to spend on free agents. If you get past that and you haven't added significantly, then I think you shift to super aggressive. Right now, I'm massively aggressive with all of my non-core assets. Outside of my top 6 guys, you can have anything. I'm willing to throw it all at you. Because right now, Luka is good enough that you could open up a championship window if you could find your third and fourth best players. Like take Tim Hardaway Jr. or Josh or Jalen, whoever's your third, fourth best player right now, if you could upgrade that and kick those guys down the assembly line into more supportive roles, I think you could win the championship right now. So right now it's not only about keeping Luka, but I want to be as aggressive as possible to try to win one. You know, teams can come out of a spot like this and put themselves in position. We'll talk more about trade opportunities here in just a second. Mavs Moneyball has 3 stats from the win to look at. The 43% stat from Luka, his 3-point percentage since February 1st. It's almost too good to be true. 9-0 is the Mavs record when holding opponents under 100. So that's the emphasis on defense. And the 37 points through 3 quarters, that ties Dirk for most points by any Mav through 3 quarters over the last 25 years.
When you go back, and it's not going to take long, Luka's going to be like 23, and he'll have most of the Maverick records, and then he just has to run down Dirk for points, which is going to take a really, really, really long time. But when they put up like triple-double lists, it won't be long before Luka has more triple-doubles than like the top 5 Mavericks combined of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember if it was the top 5 or if it was all of them. But either way, like he's
already running down like legendary players.
List.
Yeah, he's running down legendary players in the NBA history too with that. So yeah, I mean it's crazy what he does on a nightly basis.
Like this city, I know the Cowboys can be really frustrating, but some of the and it's not just luck, right? Like the Mavericks intentionally got Luka. They targeted him, they traded up and all that. But you got to go from Dirk to Luka, who, looking back on it, I don't remember who was in Dirk's draft, but they should have both been number 1 overall, depending what draft Dirk was in. And you got your franchise quarterbacks undrafted and with a 4th-round comp pick. That's some good sports gods on your side there. Now win championships.
Now win championships, yeah.
Paid our dues long enough. Things might be looking up, fellas. Hey, looking at those standings at 22-19, how high do you think the Mavs could be at the end of this season? What's your goal? Or what do you think their goal should be? They are 2 losses behind the Spurs, Blazers, and Nuggets, who are 7th, 6th, 5th. They have 17 losses. And then the Clippers sit in 4th with 16 losses. The Lakers are at 15, but LeBron has a sprained ankle. They could go on a 4-game losing streak. They lost last night. They could go on a 4-gamer, and all of a sudden you could be tied with the Lakers in the loss column by this time next week.
If you want to get really wild, I can get you to 3rd. If you want to get really wild, because you have the tiebreaker over the Clippers, so all you got to do is get to them. I believe they will pass the Spurs, Blazers, Nuggets. I think that will happen. So I think the Mavericks likely will finish as the 5 seed or the 6 seed, but I'll say 5. And if the Lakers with no AD and no LeBron go into a tailspin, you could, if you can pull even with the Clippers, you tie break them. And the Suns could come back to earth if you want to get up to the 2 seed. I will say 3 is your wildest dream. 5 is a realistic goal, and I'll settle for 6.
Yeah, that sounds great. But playing out of the play-in has got to be the expectation. I think we've really seen it now. Even with Porzingis struggling, Josh Richardson and guys are coming along and they're getting healthy, and we're far enough past the COVID outage where these guys can really play basketball. And as you look at these next 6 games, I say, guys, go take five of the 6, maybe win them all. Wolves, Pacers, Pelicans, Thunder, Celtics, Knicks. Why not?
Go on a run.
You better bring your hard hat on the defensive end when you play New Orleans. The Celtics are tough. We've seen them. Absolutely. They can beat you. But you can win these games. You could be sitting here at 28-19 at the end of next weekend.
Knicks are playing better too, overall.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
yes.
that back-to-back there, or the 2 games you're going to have to face with Boston and then the Knicks. That could go either way.